Plan on flying? In order to board domestic flights, your driver's license or state-issued ID must be a real ID. Learn how to get your real ID today at tsa.gov/real ID or visit your local DMV.
This is a Bramble Jam podcast.
Welcome to Girls Gone Hallmark, a Hallmark review podcast. I'm Megan, and I'm a longtime Hallmark fan.
I'm Wendy. I'm a former Hallmark hater.
Today, we're continuing our first impression series where we are reviewing the pilot episodes of series streaming on Hallmark Plus. Today, we are diving into Season 1, Episode 1 of Chesapeake Shores, a series that ran on Hallmark from 2016 to 2022.
It's a long time.
It was a long time. 55 episodes in this series.
Really? I thought I saw more than that. But we probably got it from the same information, so I'm sure 55 is right. That's a lot.
While you're listening, now's the time. Become our best friend on Instagram. We are Girls Gone Hallmark.
We also have a Facebook group. Hey, if you're looking for other Hallmark besties, that's the place. Girls Gone Hallmark on Facebook groups.
This episode is dropping on the same day as our listener mailbag episodes. If you want to be a part of that, we'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on these reviews on our podcast. You can email us, girlsgonehallmark@gmail.com, or you can give us a call. We are debuting our very first voice messages on today's episode. And if you want to get in on that, you can call us at 949-329-8090.
Yeah, in fact, that episode, you'll want to listen because there is a question about this first impression series because we think maybe there might be some confusion about if we're going to review the entire series.
Is it confusion or is it wishful thinking?
Maybe both. Maybe both.
All right, well, let's talk about Chesapeake Shores.
Can I first start?
Yeah.
When I went to go watch this, I went, ugh, it's a movie length.
Yeah.
And the reason I had that feeling is because I was like, we review movies all the time. And sometimes when I gotta like carve out 2 hours, give or take, in doing notes and all that stuff too, I was hoping that some of these first impressions would be 45 minutes.
Sure.
But Good Witch was also movie length. And then we have this one, which was also movie length, to which I texted you. I said, it's movie length. And you responded, what?
I know. That's why I haven't watched it yet. But
yeah, don't go away, guys, because overall, a really good episode.
Yeah.
Super good.
Yes.
So let's dig in.
All right. Well, Chesapeake Shores premiered on August 14th, 2016 on Hallmark Channel. And as you mentioned, the first episode was movie length at 1 hour and 21 minutes long.
So the synopsis: Chesapeake Shores follows Abby O'Brien Winters, a divorced mother of twins who returns to her Maryland hometown why are you making that face?
Are they twins?
The girls? I don't know if they're twins or not.
A divorced mother of 2 girls, for sure.
Of 2 girls for sure, but I don't know if they're twins. She returns to her Maryland hometown when her sister's inn faces foreclosure. Coming back means confronting her fractured family and reuniting with Trace Riley, the man she left behind a decade ago. What begins as a reluctant homecoming evolves into an unexpected journey of healing as Abby rediscovers family bonds and finding a surprising second chance at love in the coastal town she once fled.
Fun fact, the girls are played by sisters.
In real life, sisters?
Abby and Kaden Magnuson.
Cute. Not twins. Or are they twins? We don't know.
They don't have photos on IMDb. Okay. Chesapeake Shores was created by Nancy Silvers and John Tinker. Nancy has 31 writing credits, including all 55 episodes of Chesapeake Shores. In addition, she wrote Love at the Thanksgiving Day Parade and The 9 Lives of Christmas.
Hey, good movies.
Mm-hmm.
John Tinker has 18 writing credits. In addition to being credited on all 55 episodes of Chesapeake Shores, he also wrote on When Calls the Heart and 138 episodes of Judging Amy, for which he was also the creator.
Megan Ory stars as Abby O'Brien Winters. Megan has 45 acting credits, including a long-running role as Red Riding Hood on Once Upon a Time, as well as being in the currently airing series Sullivan's Crossing.
I was unaware she was in that show.
Me too. I keep meaning to watch it.
Yeah, another one that I would love to watch.
Yep.
Barbara Nevin plays Megan O'Brien. Although we don't meet her until the end of the episode, she remains a star of the series throughout its run. Barbara has 115 acting credits and can be seen in her role as Dolores Swenson in Hannah Swenson mystery movies.
Lacey J. Maley plays Jess O'Brien. Lacey has 31 acting credits and has recently been seen in The Perfect Setting and Betty's Bad Luck in Love.
I actually love Jess O'Brien. Emily Ellerup plays Bree O'Brien. Emily has 57 acting credits. For Hallmark, she was in Retreat to You in 2023, and she played the role of Ruby Frankie in Mormon Mom Gone Wrong, the Ruby Frankie story.
Treat Williams plays Mick O'Brien. Treat has 132 acting credits, and you might remember him from his role as Dr. Andy Brown on the series Everwood in the early 2000s. Before his passing in 2023, he was in series like Feud and Blue Bloods.
He was in Blue Bloods? Mm-hmm. I didn't know that. Diane Ladd plays Nell O'Brien. Fun fact, Diane will turn 90 this year and is the mother of Laura Dern, the actress Laura Dern. Mm-hmm. Laura Dern. She has a long resume of 132 acting credits.
Jesse Metcalf has 32 acting credits, which include the soap opera Passions, Desperate Housewives, and the Martha's Vineyard mystery series for Hallmark.
What is the soap opera Passions? I'm not familiar with that.
I believe it was a CBS soap opera. It was like a late addition to the soap opera.
Was he young? My goodness, he seems like such a young pup. Mm-hmm. Lots of acting credits. Although Brendan Penny doesn't appear in this particular episode, he plays the role of Kevin O'Brien in all future episodes. Brendan has 61 acting credits and has done a ton of work since Chesapeake Shores. You can find him in The Wedding Cottage, in Merry Measure, A Novel Noel, and A Season for Family, to name just a handful of his credits.
Andrew Francis plays Connor O'Brien. Like Brendan, his character is played by another actor in the pilot of this series. Andrew has 233 credits, although since Chesapeake Shores, he hasn't been seen on Hallmark. Previously, though, he was in Engaging Father Christmas and Coming Home for Christmas. Let's take a quick break before we come back for our first takes on Chesapeake Shores. All right, let's dive in to Chesapeake Shores. Wendy, what did you think?
I thought on Chesapeake Shores was woof. Like, this is a complicated family. Mm-hmm. And I was super into it.
Yeah, last week I was like, oh, I thought Good Witch was good. I would like to keep rewatching it or keep watching it. And I stand by that. But Chesapeake Shores blew it out of the water.
I agree. That's a hard agree. Mm-hmm. Like, for a pilot, I thought this was a standout episode.
Yeah, here's, if I may, I think one of the things I really liked is like, it's kind of, they initially paint this like idyllic picture of Chesapeake Shores, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it's beautiful. Gran is really loving and involved. Jess has some like personality quirks. Like, she's like the little sister who doesn't have it all together, but it's not really all that deep. And then as the episode progresses, they let us in on more and more about the family and their history and the issues that they're dealing with. And there's so much more to dig through that we don't have all the information about. We know something's going on with Gran's health. We know something more happened with just Trace and him just needing to take a break. Something's going on with the brothers. Like, what's their story? There's just so much
the mom
more to know. Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I think every character that we met has more to them than what we see. Mm-hmm. Like Mick, the dad, Treat Williams. At first, I kind of got like a smarmy kind of vibe from him. And then we do find out like he's not dad at the year, which is kind of cool. I like that. I'm really interested in, why did Mom Megan bounce? Like, what happened there? I love kind of the realization that Abby is real similar to her dad, and like her realizing that and what problems that causes her personally. I'm less interested in the whole Abby and Trace of it all.
Oh,
Maybe that will become more interesting to me, but in this particular episode, it was like more about the family that I was interested in. I like all three sisters, and I like that. Of course, we have Jess, who's, you know, like you said, she's kind of quirky. I mean, she's obviously the youngest. I wonder how old she's supposed to be. I think do you think they
Like in her
clock her like
20s,
mid-20s?
maybe? Yeah.
I mean, but to own, like, she bought that house and stuff is kind of impressive.
yeah.
But she obviously has tension with her dad and has a lot of tension with her mom. Very interested to see how that unfolds. The playwright sister who comes, I loved her. I thought she was super funny. What's her story? Why did she run away from Chesapeake Shores? And that goes back to Abby too. Why did Abby run away from Chesapeake Shores? And then, of course, I really loved how the entire episode ends. Like, we get a glimpse of the mom returning and then a glimpse of the two brothers. Like, we don't even know anything about them. Like, I thought that was really smartly done.
Yeah. They're there. They're introduced, and that's it.
Yeah.
Come on back.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Some more things that I liked. Watching this, that we know Abby's coming back home. Like, this show's called Chesapeake Shores. And I like that the path that they take to get her there makes sense. It's not like, I'm going to give up my high-powered career and run the town bakery.
Right.
She's like, I'm still going to do that. I'm just going to do it in a way that makes a little more sense for me
Yes.
to be here. I was like,
yeah.
thank you. I buy it. Some moments that like really hit me in the heart. The girls talking about their grandmother Megan and saying she knows you don't have time for that mom stuff. Oof.
I gotta tell you, I cannot stand the narrative that Abby isn't a present mother. Like, of course, we see her, she's like this baddie at work, right? But there was like a lot of things like, oh, you missed this or you missed that. And I don't like that because obviously Abby's husband is a kind of a POS, right? So Abby's got to like do what she's got to do. And sometimes you have to miss your kids' things. It hurts my heart that they like put that on her.
I thought it was kind of mixed messaging because I did like when her dad came to her rescue and he was like, your mom's working hard to provide for you guys. And we know like the dad has lost his job. Someone's got to work. Someone's got to provide for these girls, right? But I thought they did a nice job of making it clear that her character really cared about her girls. Like she was a super present mother in spite of being maybe physically absent at times.
Yeah.
In that opening scene where she's like, the little girl's like, don't we have personal lives too? And she's like, you're right. I shouldn't have to haul you out of bed. Like, I'll get the neighbor to come. She was putting her girls' needs first.
Sure.
That is the reality. Sometimes being a good mom means going to work.
Yeah.
Making money. And
Definitely.
I didn't love you fully missed the recital. Like, but that being said, I also thought that was such a sweet moment when the girls performed for her.
Oh my gosh. I loved it.
And Gran and Mick. I thought that was really sweet. And I was like, oh, it's giving Hallmark Bravermans.
Bravermans is a great comparison. Parenthood is the show. NBC. It's on Netflix, I think, now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, complicated families.
Yeah.
Complicated families. Yeah. I really enjoyed Gran. And I know I have talked about this when we have reviewed other movies in the past where we get sort of a generational character that is very involved, like a grandparent that's involved in the family dynamic. It's not really present in my life. So I like to see it on TV. It's just so nice to have like this matriarch figure there. I like Gran. I was worried about Gran's health. I've seen the next couple episodes. Gran is health-wise is,
She's credited in quite a few episodes throughout the series, so she's not going anywhere anytime soon.
right.
But yeah, I'm a little worried about Gran too. Some funny things I thought about this episode. Abby saying, I'm on a juice cleanse, and Gran saying, oh, I'll make a note of that.
Yeah. Funny. There were a lot of funny lines.
Yeah. When they talk about when she asks Bree, she's like, "Oh, do you have a psychologist too?" She's like, "No, I have a psychiatrist because I needed the extra degree."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I thought when the three sisters were together, they were golden. They were so good. They played so well off of each other. And whoever, well, I guess it's Nancy Silvers who's writing for them, was really good. Really, really good.
there are some funny things that like set this in time, like when Abby says those dating sites are dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
And then she calls 411 to get the therapist's phone number.
Yeah, that's funny too. I mean, it's 2016 this came out. I mean, who calls 411 anymore? Does 411 even exist?
I wondered the same thing, but I used to call 411 all the time.
I know, me too. But you wouldn't just be like, "Oh, give me a therapist in Chesapeake Shores."
No, she knew her name.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It's not like calling a cab company. Yeah, that's funny. I did think the thing about the dating sites was funny because I think she even said it. I think she even said the names of them. Did she say Tinder?
I thought she did say Tinder and Match.
Yes, yes, which I was kind of shocked about. Mingle all the way, guys. Anyway, yeah, there were a lot of positives in my first take. Actually, I don't think I had any like negatives. No wishes.
No, not really.
Typically.
Let's talk the Hallmark test. Is it given Hallmark?
Well, I have thought about this. And in one sense, it does give Hallmark to me, like especially like little sister calls big sister to come help me because my foreclosed, my
Right.
bed and breakfast, whatever. I mean, that's so typical Hallmark, right? But on the flip side, where a story with such complicated family dynamics, I'm like, the only thing that I can compare it to is The Way Home. I think The Way Home is it's obviously different in terms of the overall stories that it's telling, but kind of the same blueprint of fractured relationships between family members and trying to navigate all that stuff moving forward. So yes, it gives the Hallmark test for me. What about you?
Yeah, for me, I think you're right. They're tackling heavier issues here. Divorce, parental abandonment. They talk about therapy more than once. But I think it's all painted with a very Hallmark wash. You know, Megan Ori swims in her clothes twice.
Oh, when they're skinny dipping light. is
Yeah,
what
like
I
Jesse
called it.
Metcalf strips down to his boxers and she's in like a tank top and shorts. Twice she does it. I also think, she talks about her ex-husband, like he lost his job and lost a bunch of money for people. And it's just like kind of mentioned and then everything has kind of a light wash of like, it'll all be okay to it. I feel like it definitely has Hallmark on it, but I think they are digging a little deeper than they would on a movie.
Yeah, agree.
Let's talk about the cast.
All right.
I like watching this series now as opposed to in real time because I know so many of these characters. And so seeing them, I'm like, there's Lacey Maley, there's Emily Ullerup, there's Brendan Penny. Like just getting to see them in this series. I mean, it's a pretty stellar cast. There's Barbara Niven.
Yeah.
I think overall it's a strong cast.
Really strong cast. I agree with you. I said it earlier, but I really like the casting of the three sisters. I think they all have like these striking blue eyes. Like I buy that they're all related, that they are sisters. I kind of have a problem with Jesse Metcalf.
Okay.
It's only because in my mind, I see Abby, Megan Ori, as kind of sophisticated. And I see Jesse Metcalf as kind of younger.
Well,
Like, they don't go together to me.
Do you think he's ever going to get the young, hot gardener off of him?
That's my first impression of him. Yes.
That's a Desperate Housewives reference, y'all.
Yeah, where he was like was he a teenager?
I think barely legal.
Feels gross.
I think that's my memory of him. Yeah, so he always feels very young. He always feels like the young guy in town.
Wasn't he also John Tucker and John Tucker Must Die? And he was like super douchey.
Oh, I don't know.
Teenage boy in that movie too. Like, yeah, like he kind of has like this like stink on him.
They just don't strike you as peers.
No.
Yeah.
No. Like I could maybe buy that when they were in high school together, they could have been like a match. But now that she seems just far more sophisticated to him, like she's in New York, she's doing her thing. She has 2 children. She is now divorced. Like, and he's returned home kind of down on his luck.
This is the character I'm having the most trouble with because he's super hot. Obviously, there's a connection between him and Abby. The two of them are like all cuddled up on the key art for the show. Mm-hmm. There's things I like about his character. Like he's supportive of Jess. He's helping her out. Abby's like, oh, let me pay for that. And he's like, she and I'll work it out. Like, we'll figure it out. I like that.
Yeah.
But he's carrying a ton of resentment towards Abby for the fact that their relationship as children who were just out of high school didn't last.
Yeah.
And they were babies. And that's what happens when she went to college.
Like he never moved on in his years that he was away from Chesapeake, that he was in Nashville.
I mean, come on. Like, yes, she left. She went to college. She moved away. And like, oh, you went to New York and you tried to get her and you found out that she was engaged. Well, it's not as if you went to New York the week after she left. Right. She had time to move away and find someone and develop a relationship. And so the fact that you finally realized that this is what you wanted, I just don't think there's a lot of resentment to be had there.
Totally. I agree.
Interestingly enough, like the Kevin and O'Connor O'Brien characters are not played by the actors who play them.
Did not realize that.
When I saw them get out of the cab, I was like, that doesn't look like Brendan Penny. And so then I looked it up. And so we don't really get to know them. And we wouldn't even if it had been them. Mm-hmm. But I'm very intrigued by the two of them.
You have this note here, back to Jesse Metcalf. He only appears in 37 of the 55 episodes. So now you question he's not Abby's endgame?
Well, that's a question I'm asking. I don't know. But also, is it because there are so many more family dynamics going on here? Like, is it simply possible that he's just not involved in every episode?
Oh, maybe.
I mean, I don't know if I didn't look deeply enough. Like, is he in 1 through 37?
Yeah.
Or is he like, is there, a couple episodes each season that he's not in?
Yeah, great question. So those who have watched the series, we need you to email us and tell us.
Look on IMDb. Also,
don't.
Yeah, email us.
Email us.
But also, like, maybe he goes back out on tour and she's back at home. There's a lot of reasons why they end up together and he's not in the show. But I just wondered.
Very, very interesting. I gotta say, also seeing Treat Williams makes me so sad for his untimely death.
It's incredibly tragic.
He's such a good actor. Mm-hmm. And like I said earlier, like I got vibes from him. Like he was like, just not a good dude.
When he's talking about the church and his plans and how like that guy is questioning what he's going to do with that historic. It was very politician-y. Like, I've been a part of this town for my entire life.
Exactly.
I can be trusted with what's going to happen. And it was just like he was talking in circles a little bit and not really saying anything.
Yeah, so I wonder if like, does he turn out to be like a great guy or is he complicated like throughout? Mm-hmm. And then I got to tell you, first of all, Barbara Nevin is one of the most beautiful women.
Truly.
And I know we have joked about it when we review Hannah Swenson, but her skincare is next level to me. Mm-hmm. I'm watching this show in HD and she just looks flawless. Mm-hmm. I need the details. Anyway, I'm so interested in this story of why a mom leaves her family. Now, you and I know somebody who left their kid, right? And it has always like boggled our mind.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like, who does that? What is the driving force behind that? And so, and kind of the same situation with this, right? She goes off to New York or wherever. I need to know the backstory. I will say, as I watched this episode, it was weird, like at the end, how she's like hanging around. Like she comes because Gran was in the hospital, right? Mm-hmm. Mick calls her and tells her it's not her mom, right? Gran is Mick's mom.
That's my understanding.
Okay. So I'm like, why would she come back? Okay, yeah, fine. She wants to make sure that Gran is okay. But she is like not warmly welcomed by her children.
Other than Abby.
And I'm like, I need to know more. I need to know more.
Gran does say to Mick, like, she left because you chased her off. Like, you gave her no choice.
What does that mean?
Yeah. What did he do to create that dynamic?
And how do you not leave without your children? really want to see it unfold. Mm-hmm. That's all I got.
Keep it or skip it. Are you going to keep watching?
Well, I already told you in another episode, our mailbag episode.
Yeah.
Last night I watched like the next 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And I didn't watch them closely. It's not like I'm reviewing these. It's just, it's on. I'm like casually watching it. I would definitely watch the show. I don't know why. Do you remember way back when we started Girls Gone Hallmark and it was like the summer and we were like, oh, should we do Chesapeake Shores review because we could like work ahead a little bit?
Yeah.
And our very few listeners at that time were like not interested.
Yeah.
Which is seems so different to me now because it seems like the emails and the messaging that we've been getting is this was the best show on Hallmark. Yes, you should review it. Yeah, kind of surprised by all of that.
Yeah.
So maybe it was just like those 3 listeners before weren't into it. I don't know.
Yeah, very curious what people think about that. I am all in on this show. I love the cast. I love the story that they're telling. I love the setting. I'm drawn in by the first episode. There are so many Hallmark favorites who become regulars on this show. Robert Buckley, Carlo Marks, Gregory Harrison, Stephen Huzar, Jessica Sipos. So all of that makes me want to keep watching.
Gregory Harrison from SSD?
Yeah.
Who does he come from?
I don't know. Maybe he's a Barbara Niven, Megan love interest.
Stephen Huzar? This is your shirt on. Sorry, I can't help it.
Can't help it.
Wait, Robert Buckley, not Jr. Who does he come on?
Well, can I say something?
Yeah.
Because when we were starting this first impression series, I reached out on Instagram and said, hey, what do you think of these 2 series? And we got some comments, and I'd like to share one from Cheryl, who says, Chesapeake Shores, another series I watched faithfully and loved more in the beginning than the end. I definitely think it suffered when Jesse Metcalf left, though I personally loved Robert Buckley. So reading between the lines, I'm assuming that Robert Buckley becomes a love interest for Abby.
Again, another weird. He looks so young. I'm not saying she looks old. She is sophisticated. She is sophisticated to me. He feels kind of like One Tree Hill.
Oh, see, I didn't watch One Tree Hill, so I don't have that Robert Buckley association. I only have his Hallmark associations. Cheryl goes on to say, solid family drama, felt like watching a real family and how siblings interact. Treat Williams and Barbara Niven were great together. I really liked when Gregory Harrison appeared. I wish he was in more episodes. My least favorite character by far was Abby, likely many people's favorite. She was just so put upon, righteous, and whiny for me. Loved Brendan Penny and Emily Ullerup. Kevin and Bree. Kevin was a flawed hero and Bree was a breath of fresh air and lightness. Lacey Maley as Jess was better with Carlo/David. I loved him. Andrew, I don't think the character was there or not there. It made too much of an impact. That's the final brother.
Oh, I can tell you now that I've watched the first 2 or 3 episodes, I don't like that other brother at all. Connor, like he needs to reel it in.
Interesting. One more comment from fellow podcaster Dara of Dear Hallmark, who says Chesapeake Shores was the best series on Hallmark, period.
Those are big words.
Yeah.
Especially because The Way Home is so incredible. So,
Yeah.
I don't know, are you going to continue to watch it?
I'd like to. If you listen to our other episodes, you know that the list of things we need to watch personally and professionally is long, but I would very much like to continue watching this show.
Yeah, me too. I need to know from the listeners, like, how strongly do they want us to review it?
Oh.
Your look was like, oh no.
I mean, it's not happening in June.
No.
And honestly, might not happen until January.
Next year, 2026, baby.
And truly, just simply with the holiday, like we cannot add a holiday, and the holidays are too crazy. Mm-hmm. And nobody's going to be listening to that in the holidays.
Exactly.
So maybe in January. I know that sounds like a long time, but January is the best time on the calendar for it. If you want it, let us know.
But who knows? Like, what's next week's episode? Oh, When Calls the Heart is next week.
When Calls the Heart, I can
watch that.
I can tell you right now, we will not be doing a When Calls the Heart rewatch. I'm telling you right now.
Would it blow your mind if I came to you and I was like, I'm all in on When Calls the Heart?
I mean, I don't know what you do when there's a 50-50 vote.
When Calls the Heart with Wendy, a former Hallmark hater.
Wendy Calls the Heart. All right. Thank you for listening to this episode of Girls Gone Hallmark, a Bramble Jam podcast. That's it for our first impression of Chesapeake Shores. Now go form your own. We'll be back with more Hallmark reviews next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, friends, before we go, just a quick heads up. You're about to hear some ads. These little gems help us keep the show running and the Hallmark love flowing. So do with that info what you will. Grab a snack, hit the skip button, or maybe, just maybe, listen in and discover your new favorite product. Bye.